Hello everybody, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube creative studio. Today I would like to show you how to very easily create a nice, soft and cozy vest with a loop yarn. This pattern is absolutely perfect for beginners. You don't need any special experience with hooking, knitting. You don't need any hook, any needles, just your hands. And I will show you 3 different patterns on the front panels. There are 3 parts, 1 back panel and 2 front panels, and these 2 front panels they have 3 different patterns according to the color. I will use 3 colors, and the pattern notes, instructions you will find as always in the box below this video tutorial. The written pattern is available for free on my blog, and I will give you the links where you can buy the yarn and also the links on my social media. If you will have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can put the comment in the box below this video tutorial. You will reach me on my Facebook page, Pinterest or Instagram. I'm always there and happy to help. I will use ALIZE PUFFY yarn, 3 balls, 3 colors. It's very soft chenille yarn. In one ball, 100 grams, there are 9 meters. And as I told you, this hand knitting is perfect for beginners and also for kids. So I invited my model, a beautiful girl, to show you how to start. You will at first prepare the foundation chain. Skip the first chain. You will start knitting from the end and pull the second loop through the first loop, then the third through the second, and once you are satisfied with the length of your foundation chain, then easily pull the loops through the chains. 1 loop through 1 chain from back to front. Make sure your loops are not twisted, and so Lucy prepared the chain 18 loops and then a first row with 18 loops. Then you can cut the first skipped loop, and I will use it as a tail for the fixing end. And the instructions for the back panel are very simple and easy. Always make sure your work is the right side is facing you, so don't turn your work, and work with loops on your working yarn, and always pull 1 loop through 1 loop on your work, and always pull the loops from back to front and make sure the loops are not twisted. Okay, so this is the last loop. We will pull the loop through it, and now work from right side to left side, so don't turn your work. Okay, so you can move the working yarn from right to left and easily 1 loop through 1 loop from back to front. Make sure it's always these directions, and this is it. And make sure the back panel has the proper width for your back. So this is for the girls size 10 years old. So this is it. You can very easily make the back panel. It's one big rectangle, and then I will show you how we will create the pattern on the front panels. Cut the ends. We always leave 1 loop at the beginning and 1 loop at the end, so you can knot these skipped loops and cut them and make a knot or 2 knots to fix the beginning and the end where you change the color. So this is it. Now let me show you the pattern on the front panel. we will create the foundation chain. As always, I skipped the first loop. I will start with the next ones and I will pull the next through the first, then the third through the second, and so on till you are satisfied with the length or the width of your front panel. I have 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 chains, and this is my first loop. Again, I will move the working yarn. Always the right side is facing you, so don't turn your work. And again, pull each and every loop through each and every chain. So I started with 10 chains, so in the first row I will have 10 loops prepared for the pattern. Okay, here we are, we have 10 loops, and I will show you how to make a nice heart pattern with loops yarn. I will start from the middle. So at first, pull the first loop from back to front, and then next 3 loops from front to back. Okay, so I would recommend you to put the working yarn in front of your work and then pull the loops from front to back. Okay, so 3 loops this way from front to back. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops prepared, and now I will start to make a heart shape. So grab 2 loops in the middle and skip the next loop and pull the loop on your working yarn through the next loop from back to front. Okay, then grab the skipped loop and pull the next loop on your working yarn through this loop. So you see now the skipped loop is over and on the front. This is the center and the bottom of the heart. This is the mirroring pattern, so 3 loops from front to back and the last loop from back to front. I will always work the first and the last loop from back to front. Let's start the third row. Okay, the first loop from back to front, and then 2 loops from front to back. Okay, 1 and 2. Then skip the next loop and I will make the cross. Again, continue to shape the heart. So skip 1, pull the next loop through the back to front, and now be careful, pull the loop through the skip loop but from front to back. Okay, so the next loop from front to back through the skipped loop. Perfect. And this is what we will repeat. So skip 1 loop, pull the next loop through front to back, from front to back, and then let's grab the skipped loop and pull the next loop on your working yarn through it from back to front. Perfect. And that we nicely shape the bottom of the heart. There are 3 loops left, so 2 loops from front to back and the last loop from back to front. Okay, so 1, 2, and the last one from back to front. Nice, nice, nice. Let's start row number 4. Don't turn your work. The first loop from back to front, the next loop from front to back. Okay, so put your working yarn in front of your work, then back, and let's continue working on your heart. So skip the next loop, grab the next one on your work and on your working yarn and pull it from back to front. Perfect. Then grab the skipped yarn and again move your working yarn to front and pull the next yarn on your working yarn through front to back. And there are 2 loops in the middle, so pull 1 loop into each from front to back. Perfect. Now skip the next loop, pull the loop on your working yarn through front to back through the next on your work, grab the skipped loop and pull the next loop on your working yarn through it from back to front. Perfect. There are 2 loops left, so one is from it's pulled from the front to back and the last one from back to front. We are done with our 4th row. Perfect. And you can see how nicely the heart is shaping. Now I will cross also the loops in the middle. So the first loop from back to front, the next loop from front to back, the next loop from back to front. It's my heart, so go straight up. Perfect. Now there are 4 loops in the middle, so the first one from front to back, and I will cross 2 loops in the middle. Okay, so skip one, grab the next one and pull the loop on your working yarn through these loops from back to front. Okay, so we crossed 2 loops in the middle and I pull the loops from back to front through them. Perfect. The next loop from front to back, and there are 3 loops left. The first one is on my heart pattern, so pull it from back to front, the next one from front to back, and the last one from back to front, and we are done with our 5th row. Amazing. And let's start row number 6. We will finish the heart shape. Okay, so we have 10 loops. Just make sure you can count them. Don't turn your work. Pull the next loop on your working yarn through back to front through the first loop, then the next one through front to back. Perfect. Now I will cross next 2 loops. Okay, so skip one, grab the next one, and now be careful and pull the next loop on your working yarn through front to back. Okay, so we closed the heart shape. Now grab the skipped yarn and the yarn, the loop on your working yarn, and pull it from back to front. Perfect. Now there are 2 loops in the middle, and easily pull the loops through them, through back to front. So don't make any cross. Perfect. And through the next one as well. Amazing. You see, I love this shape. Then make a cross. So skip one, pull the loop on your working yarn through the next one from back to front. Now be careful, next 2 loops from front to back, and the last loop from back to front. We are done. Amazing. Super. We finished the 6th row. Let's start row number 7. Pull the loop through the back to front through the first loop, then next loop from front to back. Actually, I will work from front to back in each loop except the first and the last loop. Make a cross with next 2 loops and pull the loops on your working yarn through them, through from front to back. Again, make a cross. So skip one, grab the next one on your work, pull it from front to back, pull the loop from front to back through the skipped one. There are 3 loops left, so 1 and 2 from front to back, and the last one through back to front. Amazing. We finished the 7th row. I'm so happy how it looks like. I love the heart shape on my patterns, on my projects. Super. And one more row. It will be easy. Just pull the loops from back to front, 1 loop through 1 loop, no cross. So you will have 10 loops in your last loop. It's row number 8. And we are done with the first part of your front panel. We have 8 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the front and also on the back panel. Amazing. And I will not join these parts together. Okay, so the bottom part of the back panel and of the front panel are not joined. I will join only the middle part, okay, with this sky blue. And let's continue with the next pattern and with the next color. So you can cut this sky blue. Again, I'm leaving 1 loop to fix the ends, so we can cut these loops and make knots to fix the ends. Of course, I will hide the ends on the back side later on. And let's continue. I will count the rounds from 1, okay, for this second part, so easy to count and to remember the rows. Again, make sure your work is facing you, don't turn your work, and make sure you have 10 loops in each row. Okay, so I cut the dark blue color and I will use this sky blue. And as I told you, I will join the front and back panel. I will use the loops. Okay, skip 1, pull the next one through the loop on your front panel, and this skipped one I will use for chaining and joining the side. So pull this loop through the last loop in the first row of the second part on your back panel, and I will show you how to make the chain to join the loops, to join the panels. Now easily pull the loop, okay, one loop through one loop like this, okay, and you will have 10 loops in the row, okay, plus one on the side, okay, and I will show you the pattern. So the first loop always through back to front, always in next 10 or 9 rows. Then in the next through loops work from front to back, 1, 2 and 3. Next 3 loops work from back to front, okay, make sure you work with loops on your walking yarn from back to front, 1, 2 and 3, and there are 3 loops left. So work from front to back, okay, so 1, 2 and 3, and this is the last loop, the joining loop, okay. So I will show you how to join the side. So grab the next loop on your walking yarn and pull it through the loop, last loop on the back panel. Actually it is the second row of the second part, and then you will grab this 2 loops and pull the second one through the first one. So you will nicely make a chain on side, and you will nicely join the back and the front panels together. So you can do it now or later on, so you can leave these loops on side, okay, and leave them and join them later on. And then you can continue work 3 loops from front to back, 3 loops from back to front, 3 loops from front to back, and the last loop always, the last loop on the left side, always from back to front. And I will make 3 rows and then 3 rows in the opposite way. Always make sure that the last loop on the left side going from the back to front, and make 3 rows, 3 rows and 3 rows. So in total you will have 9 rows. Then you can chain the chains or join the loops on side, nicely make a chain on side and join both panels, and we are done with the second part. I love this chest pattern, amazing. So 3 little squares, perfect. Now let's start with a new yarn, this light yarn. I will join the first row the same way as we joined the side with on the second part. So pull the loop through this last loop on side, and then pull one loop through each loop. We have again 10 loops in the row. Perfect. The first row prepared, and in next row I will finish the join or the seam on side. Now I will change one loop from front to back and next loop from front to back. So next loop from back to front, next loop from front to back, next loop from back to front, next loop from front to back. Okay, so 1 1 1 1 1 1. We have 10 loops in the row, so you will finish with the loop worked from front to back. And I will also join this last loop in the row with the loop on the side. It's like if you remember how we do decrease, so grab these two loops and also grab the loop on your working yarn, the next loop, and pull this loop on your working yarn through both loops, and again from front to back. So I nicely joined the loop on the side and the first loop on the, it's the second row and the third part of my front panel. And again you can continue one loop from back to front, one loop from front to back till you are at the end of your row. Always have 10 loops in the row. This is it, and I will show you in next row. Oh, mistake, so let me repair it. And in next row I will show you how to make the decrease on the left side. Okay, and again it will be easy. I will grab first two loops on my work and then next loop on the working yarn, and I will pull this loop through both loops. Perfect. Now we make decrease on side, on the left side, and this is what I will do in every second row. Perfect. And I will work 10 rows, so at the end you will finish with 6 loops. Okay, so decrease on the left side in every second row from row the third, and again keep working on our pattern. So one loop from back to front and one loop from front to back. Amazing, easy. I love these lines, the straight lines, and I also love how easy you can make decrease, how to, the shape, the neckline, and this is it. So decrease every second row. It means when you are working from left to right, make decrease. Here we are. So let's continue work on your pattern, and once you have 10 rows, perfect, I have 10 rows, I will show you how easily join the shoulders, the top of the front and the back panel. So grab the last loops and pull the last loop on the front panel through the last loop on the back panel. I pull the loops from back to front, and there are 6 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, you remember how we joined the side, so join the shoulder. So grab the second loop, pull it through the first loop, the third loop through the second loop, and so on and so on. So you will join 6 loops on the shoulder. Easy. Cut the yarn, leave 1 loop, and yeah, you can hide it. You can pull this last loop. This is 1 more loop I leave for joining through the last loop. Okay, so like this. And I will also join next 6 loops, next 6 loops on back panel, and I will leave 6 loops unjoined, prepared to join them with left front panel. Not sure if I mentioned it, on the back panel I have 18 loops, so I joined first 6 loops, then there are 6 loops in the middle, and I again joined 6 loops at the end. I joined the front and the back panel, and you can hide the end, and we are done, my crochet friends. You already know how to create, how to hand knit it very easily, soft and cozy vest, how to work with loops, yarns, and how to make patterns. You can make any pattern you like, you can create the patterns. It's easy. Okay, cut the ends, make the knots, and hide the ends on the back side. I love it, it's so soft, and I also love the colors from the dark blue, sky blue, and light blue. You see there are 3 squares, creating chessboard. In the middle, 3 patterns. We started with the heart, then there is the chest pattern, and straight lines on the 3rd pattern, and we nicely shaped the neckline. Let me measure the lengths. So the width is 38 centimeters, 15 inches. The front panel top part measures 12 centimeters, 5 inches. Also the middle part. The front panels, both, they measure 40 centimeters, 15.5 inches, 20 centimeters, 7.8 inches each. And the length is 66 centimeters, 25.7 inches. And this is it, my crochet friends. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you like it, please give me your thumb up, and don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. In case of any questions, please don't hesitate to put the comment in the box below this video tutorial. In the info box you will find the links where you can contact me. You can also reach me on my Facebook page, Instagram, and Pinterest. I'm always there, happy to help. And please let me know how your work turned out, what you created, vest, poncho, sweater. I'm so excited. So take care, happy crocheting, and see you soon. Bye bye.